Hey there, thanks for joining us on our regular look at the Malaysian game. Now with me this week to look back on the action we have from 442 Malaysia, Vijhay Vick.
Hi Ross, hi everyone.
We have from Malay Mail, Nicolas Anil.
How's it going, guys? Good.
Now, you can follow us on Facebook, of course, Malaysian Football Weekly and All Sports Asia. We have a website, it's allsports.net, and we are found on Twitter at allsportsasia. Now, we're going to start with the big news this week, which is the fact that Bari is now half owned by a Malaysian businessman. Little known Malaysian businessman until this week, obviously, Dato' Nordin Ahmad. Dato' Dr. Nordin Ahmad. First of all, what do we know about Dato' Nordin Ahmad?
Well, not very much actually. A lot of things are still very vague, but what we do know is, what we know is actually what he's saying. What he is saying, he says he's been in the oil and gas industry, some diamonds, and that's what has come from him. And also this company called Mfwtv. It's a company which does. Which specializes in aerospace, defense, and security. So that's what we know. If we dig a little bit deeper, we can find blogs which state that he had business dealings with the Ministry of Defense.
So he must have. So he must have figured in the list of richest Malaysian men, for example, right?
Surprisingly, we have not heard.
Exactly.
He's not up there with the elite. But this takeover, for me, is good and bad. It could be a good thing for Malaysian football. It could also be a bad thing. Look what happened to Cardiff, Ross, when Vincent Tan took over at first. You know, everything was fine and rosy, and then he changed the club grass. He turned red.
Yeah. I mean, you can also quote Queen's Park Rangers, who went down, and then you see what the Thais are doing with Leicester City, and you wonder, where are we going wrong? So, I mean, but credit where credit's due. We're trying. Malaysia is on the map as far as Bari people are concerned.
Yeah, that's good.
Our flag was seen unfurled at a game, and I understand a football academy might be opening up in Malaysia under the Bari name. That's good, right?
Well, it's only been talked so far. QPR were supposed to open an academy, and we've not seen anything yet. So, as far as I know, or as far as I'm concerned, it's still just all talk. You have to see something.
Well, in an interview with Berita Harian, Dr. Nordin said, we have to give the chance to the youth of Malaysia. Young talents can play for Bari, and maybe one day teams like Manchester United will be impressed by them and offer them a contract. Does this mean that it's easier for Malaysians, for example, to get into like Serie A? Whereas the stipulations are quite tough in the BPL, right? You have to play 70% of your country's games.
For Europe as well, you need to be ranked in the top 70. But there could be a very nice transfer system like what QPR did. They brought some footballers over there for training stint, stuff like that.
Just for 1 weekend.
But it could be some sort of exposure for the footballers here, provided things take off in Bari. For now, things are looking good. They're fifth, third in the Serie B, looking to get up, and Nordin received such a raucous reception from the fans there. So it looks like they have taken to him, and it remains to be seen if he can actually elevate the club. And once that is done, then perhaps Malaysia can come into the picture. But I think not just yet.
Yeah, we should open a Nasi Lemak stall in Bari straight away. Sort it out.
Said there were big plans, so
what for Nasi Lemak?
No, as in.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe
it's
Nasi sambal. It's all about the sambal.
No, probably Nasi Dagang.
Yeah, good point. But I mean, 50% stakes. It's a Serie B club. There's a good chance they might get promoted. So it's good. We'll see how this particular story pans out. But it's big news. It's big Malaysian football news as well. First short break. When we come back, we're going to start looking back at the week's MSL and even preview the next round for you. Vijhay Vick from 442 and Nicolas Anil from the Malay Mail here. This is the fourth ever Mfwtv VideoPod, or podcast if you're listening to it on audio only. Before we start looking at the MSL round 8 of action, we're going to look back at the FA Cup semi-finals. The first legs were played over the week, or just over a week ago. PKNS and Perak shared a 4-goal thriller. This one is nicely poised, gents.
Yeah, definitely. PKNS is a Premier League club as well. For them, it's fantastic, and I think they should have won the match. They've got good imports. The locals are blending in well with the imports. They're doing relatively okay in the Premier League as well, and they are my pick actually to go through to the final.
Yeah, definitely looking good. But having said that, Perak as well are on the rise. What they have not done in the Malaysian Super League, they are actually making up for it in the FA Cup. It's kind of a waste that they threw away twice. They threw away the lead to draw, especially with PKNS playing without two recognised fullbacks. But nonetheless, it is a good result for Perak to just make up for their league disappointment, and I can see that the local players are slowly starting to grow in confidence.
One in particular, No Ridwan, who came to the fore last season. We picked him out a couple of times, but he's carried on. He's maturing into quite an important player now for Perak.
His only problem is actually he's been injured a bit too often. If not for his injury, I think he would walk into the national squad
easily. I think he was one of Malaysia's a local leading assist in terms of assist last season before injury took a toll on him. So if he can keep himself fit,
Perak were top 2, right?
Pardon?
Perak were top 2.
Yeah. So if he can keep himself fit, definitely, just to bring Perak up to mid-table, and who knows what could happen from there.
Brilliant stuff. The second leg takes place on Saturday, the 30th. Perak 2 away goals under their belts. It will be 2-2 when they take on PKNS. The other semi-final, shock horror, first defeat of the season for JDT in any shape or form, so they can be beaten.
Yeah, of course they can be beaten. I think the game against Felda as well, Felda showed that Johor could be ripped apart. Johor came back very strongly in that match, and in this match too, Johor came back. If Johor did not come back strongly, they would not have even scored a goal. And that goal was against the run of play as well.
Yeah, I mean, Kedah, we've spoken about Kedah quite a few times. Tan Cheng Ho and Kedah, what a great job he's doing. I mean, they're all still playing out their skins, aren't they?
Yeah, the thing about Kedah is that they do not fear their opponents. They just go out. We could see in the first half, they had no sort of fear or respect. I mean, they do respect JDT as opponents, but it is just that, on the field, it's anyone's game. And you could see from the goal, the first goal, the free kick is just straight out of the training ground. Badrul to the South Korean defender who heads it back, and what an impact from Farhan Roslan to just leap in and score. And then they just continued going on the attack. They eased off a little bit in the second half, did enough to claim the win, and that game was their 11th game unbeaten. With such a minimal squad, with so many players jetting off for national duty, you could see that all of them just wants to perform for the team, and Cheng Ho has done so well to just get them performing in their team spirit, and there is no distraction outside.
I'm sure as well the Darul Aman Stadium packed. I mean, that no matter how big a team you are, JDT, they've played all across Asia. They must have gone there, and it must have taken them aback, because it was electrifying, the atmosphere, right? I mean,
yes, it's a very enclosed stadium.
Exactly.
When you get a full crowd, it can really be buzzing, and it can really inspire the team as well.
Excellent. Well, the second leg is nicely set up. Then JDT have to come out with all guns blazing. That will happen at the Larkin Stadium on Saturday, April the 30th. Right, our second and final break. When we come back, then MSL action. Thanks for sticking around. Vijhay Vick from FourFourTwo and Nicolas Anil from the Malay Mail here to talk about the week's MSL action. Round 8 of matches played so far in this season, and Felda United are keeping the orange flag flying. The latest victims were the Cops. PDRM succumbed to a 4-0 defeat, and I mean, they're a tough nut to crack, aren't they? Felda United.
Felda are looking very good for their money. They are one of the biggest spending teams in the league, so if you're not at the top, then there must be something wrong. They've got good players. I'd like to see how they handle an injury crisis, because apart from their midfield too, I don't think there's anyone else who can come in and replace them and make Felda as combative in the middle. Because right now, if you ask me, Joe have got the best squad.
Yeah.
They've got the best players. They've got the best midfielders.
And the
all that.
biggest squad
They've
as well.
got two of the best, arguably two of the best best midfielders in Southeast Asia. And Felda have been dominating that midfield.
That's a great point. So they're doing something, right? And I tell you what, Christy Jayasilan is reviving his career there, right? I mean, 2 goals in 2 weeks recently.
Yep.
Talk of joining the national squad, maybe?
Hopefully, I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. Last season, he had a little bit of problem with injury. He was injured in the FA Cup semi-finals to JDT. But since then, ever since his comeback, he's just rebranded himself. He's no longer playing so much on the wings. He's coming to a little bit more central position, and that is how he's getting chances to score goals. But it's not just him. It's the likes of FourFourTwo and also Zarahan, who are just full of pace, power, and penetration.
We were just saying before it all started, we wonder how much Francis FourFourTwo is getting paid per month. So you were going to say something?
Yeah, speaking of Christie, it's just a fun fact. He scored 2 national team goals last year. And he was the highest scoring Malaysian.
Yeah, but last year we try and erase from our memories. All right, moving on then. JDT, obviously the reigning champions. Now, they would have been smarting off the back of that FA Cup defeat to Kedah. In fact, 4 changes were made to the squad that put 5 past Sarawak. It was JDT 5, Sarawak 2. I mean, when you've got the likes of Diaz, Lucero, and like Yusof Rahim, one of the 2 best midfielders in Asia probably, they're a good team. There's no 2 ways about it.
It's a fantastic squad.
They should blow everybody away.
Of course.
The thing about them also, Ross, is that they are not only getting their strikers to score. The midfield has also chipped in really healthily with 19 goals. And the most important point is that our locals are scoring in JDT colours. We have already had 19 goals from local players. That says a lot about Malaysian football, where local scorers are not scoring. In the league at present, only 2 boys, Gopinathan and Hadin Adam from Felda, are in the top 19 goal scorers.
Good
Which
point.
doesn't say a lot about our strikers. So JDT are doing well to get the strikers to go out there, go out and give the foreigners a fight. The foreigners are also scoring, but you can see that the locals are trying their best to match them.
The locals are not playing. A lot of local strikers are just simply not playing. You've got Kumaran in Penang playing in midfield. You've got Jeffrey playing in the middle.
Osaka's not even playing at all.
Yeah, exactly. Hazwan's not playing up front. So that's why we're still relying on Amri and to a certain
For the
extent,
national side,
Safi
yeah.
as well.
I mean, that is a big problem, but it will get sorted out slowly. I mean, we live in hope. But Sarawak this season under Raja Gopal are showing a lot more fight. They're scoring goals at least, right?
Well, their defeats have been quite narrow, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Apart from this match, the only time they conceded more than 2 or 3, I think, was against Selangor, where they lost 4-2. So they are difficult to beat. A lot of the defeats were 1-0, 2-1s, or even a 2-0, and they have some draws here and there as well. So I think you got to give them time. You look at the squad, Sarawak don't have a fantastic squad. They have probably, if you're looking at the strength of the squad, they have among the bottom 4 or 5 teams. So it's nothing really surprising, but give Rajagopal some time. There are some young, exciting players there, like Shami, the centre back, Rodney, even they've got, I think in midfield, the name's just not coming to my head right now.
They've got Gurusami, who's there to give them some real beef in midfield as well.
Junino has been good as well. And even Gilmar, well, the strikers are not.
What, you mean the Timur Leste?
Yeah, well, he's actually
Or Brazilian.
But he's actually doing not too bad. He's putting in a lot of balls.
He's great. It's just he's not from Timor Leste. I mean,
I spoke to him the other day about that, and he said that my granddad, like many other Brazilians and Portuguese, migrated to Timor Leste some 50 years ago.
Okay,
so
I'll
give him the benefit of that.
Okay, we'll take it back. But I mean, it's a bit suspicious, that's all. All right, then. Big win for JDT. Moving on. The Red Giants limped to a 1-0 win over Penang. I mean, limping is what Selangor are doing this season. Already, Zainal's under some sort of pressure, right?
Oh yeah, the pressure's great. It's a big club, Selangor. It's still the biggest club in Malaysia. It's not Johor. Johor is the most successful club. At present, it's the strongest squad, but the biggest squad, as in the biggest team, is still Selangor. They've got lots of history. Well, their fans are not turning up, but if Selangor start clicking and start performing, I think the fans will come back as well.
I mean, reminiscent to maybe LVG at United. Getting the results every now and again, falling to the odd defeat, but limping along, aren't they?
Exactly, Ross. Me and Vijay were actually at that game, and we were watching the game and thinking, are we watching a training game or a training match? You know, we to be honest, we switched off a couple of times because the action on the field was just not up to par. And you could see that from the crowd. The crowd were getting agitated, you know, there were a little bit of howls here and there. Selangor have so much of opportunity and also talent, you know, to match the likes of Felda and JDT.
Yeah.
But against Sapa Penang team who are infused with a lot of young players, they just could not capitalize.
You know, there was only one shot on goal from Selangor in the first 70 minutes, and that was the free kick that went in.
See, similarities to Man United are eerie.
Come on, get over it, Ross. I understand it's hard, but
Okay, although he didn't get on the score sheet, S.Kumaarahan spoke to our Nicolas Anil after the game.
How was it? You know, despite the loss, how do you think Penang played?
They play very well, but they are unlucky.
Okay,
I think they attack more than Selangor.
okay.
Unlucky, how to do.
Why? What do you think was the problem? Because the finishing touches in front, Penang a bit lacking.
That's all. That's all a small problem. That doesn't matter because we are leading 1-0 because of free kick.
Okay,
That
Okay.
ball. We can't do anything.
okay. And how is the new coach been so far after being
So far, so
replaced?
good. Very well, but I think it's very good.
Okay, and as for yourself, Kumar, before this, Jackson said that you know you were a bit nervous when you are playing at home and all. How are you feeling right now playing in front of the Penang fans? Because from what I see, you were one of Penang's best player today.
That is first when was start the Super League. His first game, second game, that's all. So that I already win the field very well.
Okay.
Vic, you were saying Kumaran, one of the many promising strikers, not really playing in a position that we'd like to see him flourish in, but he's got a future. He's this young kid.
yeah, of course, you've got a future. A lot of these young boys from Harimau Muda have got a future, and that's basically people like him are the testament of why Harimau Muda was successful. I don't understand why people think Harimau Muda was a failure. Look at the players they've produced. Look at the national team squad now. Where are the majority of the players coming from? Look at the states. Amirul Hisham is playing fantastic for Kedah right now.
Yeah.
He's a product of?
Yeah.
Was he a Kedah product all the while, or where was he for the last 3-4 years?
Mm.
So you need, or rather, well, we have done away with the Harimau Muda program, and players like this, I just hope the clubs can produce, because if not, you're not going to see players like this.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to sort itself out. I mean, because with the demise of Harimau Muda, things need to settle down a bit, and there needs to be many more outlets for these younger players. But all right, let's move on and talk about the East Coast club on the rise. I'm not talking about Kelantan. I'm not talking about Pahang. I'm not talking about Terengganu. It is T-Team, right?
They've got a good coach. They've got a good coach. They don't have a fantastic squad in terms of local players. They've got some good foreigners. All the credit goes to them for where they are, but it's still very early. It's not like the league. It's not the English Premier League where you've got 20 teams and okay, you're in 4th or 5th. It's only a 12-team league. You're still a mid-table team. You've won 2 or 3 matches on the run. Things happen. Selangor wins 2 or 3 matches on the run. They're back in 3rd.
Yeah.
Pahang were down all this while.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
They're out of the relegation zone. So it's nothing much to talk about. Oh, they're up there. It's good. It definitely gives them bragging rights.
And it raises more than half an eyebrow, because this is the Kedah side that beat JDT.
Yeah.
So to be torn apart by T-Team, you go, wow, that's a
I
big
think
score.
it's more to lethargy, you know, because Kedah had the FA Cup excursions.
That's
as
a great
well,
point.
And they've just been playing non-stop since the
missed
start
Anil
of the
too.
season. Yeah. So if one or two injuries or little suspension comes in the way, then Cheng Ho has really got to rejig that squad. But no discredit to T-Team, who had 3 local players score in that match.
Yeah.
I think that the most amount of goals from local players this week. So it's good to see a team that had battled promotion, had battled their way from the Premier League, come up to the Super League and battle it out with the big boys.
Great point. Excellent stuff. So a massive win for T-Team over Kedah. Pahang, they were rock bottom a couple of weeks ago. Then they got Razif Ismail in to help out, the ex-Harimau Muda coach. He's overseen a couple of wins. The latest was a 7-goal thriller, 4-3 against East Coast rivals Kelantan. They're out of the relegation zone. That's good news for Pahang.
Oh, yeah, they've got a decent squad. It's a very.
They lost a lot of players, right?
Yeah, they lost. I think any team would struggle.
Exactly.
Yes, was it?
Try taking out Haris Harun, Diaz, Safiq Rahim, Marcos, Aidil from Johor, and see how they perform. It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, but Razip's come in. He's tried to steady the ship, and out of there, 2 wins. Like you say, it does move you up the table, 6 points. It's moved them out of the relegation zone. I know a few Pahang fans are sleeping easier now.
Yeah, what Razip has done, I think, Ross, is he's rejuvenated both his foreign signings, Bolas and also Pacheco. They were not performing at all before this, and we know in the Malaysian League, it's the foreign strikers who are going to get you goals. As soon as he's coming to the side, Pacheco and Bolas have already scored 7 goals out of 9 in Pahang's last 2 games, and they've scored 9 out of Pahang's overall 13 goals. So it's because of them that Pahang are now out of the relegation zone, and we really hope that they can keep it up. They've also got some exciting young players who are in the national squad, like Sarvindran, like Matthew Davies. So if they can just keep up this momentum, it'll really be good for the team. We can't expect much from them this season. We can't expect them to emulate the heroics of the FA Cup and also Malaysia Cup success, but for them this season, just ending up in mid-table, I think would be a good.
They have to stay in the Super League.
Yeah,
They have to, yeah.
They have
If
to.
they drop, I think it's easier to get a good mid-table or a high position in the Super League as opposed to getting relegated, getting promoted, because the competition for promotion is just.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's sad or beautiful that a team 2 seasons ago can win a double, on its way to winning a treble, and then be fighting relegation.
2 words, Ross, Malaysian football.
And also Leicester City.
Yeah.
The other way.
In a nutshell. All right, let's wrap up our look at the MSL then with a talk about Terengganu, who can't buy a win at the moment. See Aston Villa for Terengganu. Their latest was a 3-2 defeat at home to Perak. One bright light for Terengganu is Izzy Nakajiwa scoring for them.
Yeah.
He's doing it on a regular basis, but it's not enough to get them wins.
The locals are not performing in Terengganu. They need to step up. If they don't step up, Terengganu is just going to fall further and further. I pity Mike Mulvey, actually. But he's an A-League winning coach, so he can't be bad.
Exactly.
So he does have things he needs to do. Give him time. The club has come out and made a statement warning the players to buck up and sort of saying, look here, follow your coach, adapt to his tactics and all that. That's a great boost for Mike's confidence, because it's telling you that, you know what, we're standing by you. Because if they're going to change another coach, it's going to happen until the end of the season, and well, next thing you know, for a couple of the seasons down the road, they're going to be in the Premier League.
They cannot get relegated. They've just moved to a new stadium. Surely that needs to be paid
They've
off,
moved
right?
back to their old stadium, actually.
Have they?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but they're not
the
using
Sultan
that stadium.
Zainal Abidin.
Oh, okay. Well, that was news to me. That's not very nice to know. All right. Well, that's round 8 then matches. Looking ahead to the round 9 fixtures, all happening over Saturday and Sunday. You've got Sarawak versus Pahang. Can Pahang keep the winning run going?
It's a tough match.
Raja Gopal against Razif Ismail. That should be interesting.
But honestly, if it's a 1-on-1 battle, then I know who to pick. But for this match, it's going to be very close. Sarawak's trying to win, and Pahang still trying in Kuching, nonetheless.
I could see a couple of goals in this game, perhaps a 2-2, maybe even a 3-3. Both sides, they tend to concede quite a bit, but they also have goals in them. So it could play out to a draw, but perhaps a high-scoring one.
Well, PDRM smarting after their recent caning will host Selangor. Now, goal-shy Selangor, I should call them, because that's what they are. But they need to grind out another 1-0 if possible here, right? A win.
They have to win. Only a win would actually make things much better for them, actually. If not, it's not going to happen. Well, teams need to keep winning, and you've got a lot of teams which are not consistent.
Yeah.
They win one game and then they lose another 2 games.
Is Zainal going to see out this season?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He would. Yeah, he would see out this season because they are in third place, which is not a bad thing.
Exactly.
They have to keep winning, Ross, because the point between the gap between them and JDT currently stands at 7. So they cannot afford to drop any more points at the moment. They have to keep the pace, And credit to Felda, they're doing well to stay on top there with JDT. But if no other team is going to match them, then JDT are just going to pull away, and our league's not going to be exciting. So we need the likes of Selangor to keep it up, and Selangor needs more than just Patrick Ronaldinho to score. He's been picking up the mantle, highest goal scorer, but Maro Olivi needs to chip in with goals. Nazmi Faiz, Hafiz Kamal and all needs to start chipping in with goals.
Absolutely.
Well, this playing the same boring football for the last 3 years. So it's not really what Zainal has done to the team. Yeah, they won the Malaysia Cup last year, but what they have lost is the resilience at the back.
Yeah.
Going up, it's still the same. It's the same boring play. But you have players like Gopi trying to make a difference. So give it some time. I would say getting rid of Zainal would be a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. And knee-jerk reactions do not happen in Malaysian football.
Oh, really?
Never. All right, East Coast Derby, Kelantan versus Terengganu in days not too long ago. This one would have been a top-of-the-table clash, but it's now very much lower to mid-table. Both teams smarting after quite big losses as well. Kelantan, you gotta kind of feel for them, right? Since Boyan left, it's not gone right.
In all honesty, I don't feel anything for Kelantan. It's their own undoing. You get a coach, you sack him after 2 months, 3 months, and then you don't pay him as well. What do you expect? You keep changing coaches. There's no stability. You don't pay your players on time.
I understand though
they should cease to exist as a football club.
Yeah, I understand though the wives and the girlfriends are getting cosmetics quite quickly.
Oh yeah, that's coming in thick supply.
Yeah, anyway, that one
Steven's using some as well.
Saturday 9 o'clock, Kelantan versus Terengganu. Kedah versus JDT. All eyes on this one. It's a kind of a replay of the FA Cup. JDT, they will have revenge on their minds, and if Kedah here can make another statement, wow. Right?
This is going to give the winner confidence ahead of the second leg. Don't you think?
Yep, definitely. But for me, I think Kedah might just, try and maybe not go all out, because keeping in mind they have a return second leg next week. So they would want to keep some of their players fresh and fit. But definitely it will be a chance for them to just go and gauge the atmosphere at the Larkin Stadium and how they would deal with the same team next week.
Will leaders Felda United keep winning? They are away at Perak. Perak are finding some form as well now, aren't they?
Yeah, but this is the league leaders Felda.
With that firepower that they have.
Firepower, that like what we were talking before this, Ross.
Yeah.
Those Zarahan and Lutful Aturaf in the engine room. That's the key. So then you've got Shuko back at 35, 36, and he's still one of the best.
And he reads the game so well.
Yeah, he's still one of the best local centre backs in the league.
That says something. Now longevity, Nasi Lemak, and all that. Wrapping up the Sunday action will be Penang hosting T-Team. Penang will be looking for a win, but their problem is finding goals, right?
Yes. The last game against Selangor, Firdaus Chiu was on the bench.
Yeah.
Kumaran, as Vijay mentioned, was out of position. So Manzo Aswira, I think he's still feeling out the team. Was his second game in charge against the Selangor. Really, the Selangor. I spoke to a couple of Penang fans who are fervent supporters of the team. They follow the team to places. So they're going to be packing the City Stadium once again. And let's just hope that Aswira gets his tactics right. And it won't be easy against T-Team who are on a high after their recent win. But if Penang can pull off a win, it would somehow spark a turnaround for them, because it's still early stages in the season.
I asked Azvira the other day after the match against Selangor, I was like, do you think you don't have a squad capable to sustain a good challenge in the Super League? And he was like, that's a difficult question to answer. Well, it's either a simple yes or a no. And when you tell me that it's a difficult question to answer, the only sign you're sending is that
I
don't have a good squad.
That's a great point. But I mean, managers are still they're still gauging their squad strength even at this stage of the season. That wraps up then our look at the round 9 fixtures. We hope to be back next week to talk about how these games panned out. For now, I'm going to say thanks to Nicolas Anil from the Malay Mail.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks to Vijhay Vick from FourFourTwo. And thank you for listening and watching. Do check out the videos on our YouTube channel, All Sports Asia. Until the next time, bye-bye.